Welcome, Divine Feminines. Today we're awakening the holy fire within, the sacred flame that resides in your soul. This is the fire of transformation, creativity, and divine power, waiting to be unleashed. It's not just a metaphor, it's the energy that fuels your purpose, your passion, and your connection to the divine. Together, we'll explore how to nurture this fire. Let it illuminate your path and radiate its warmth to the world. The holy fire is calling you. Are you ready to embrace its power? Let's dive in. Thank you for tuning in to Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I am YaYa, the spiritual doula. Welcome to all of my first time listeners. Please take a moment after you have listened to this message, if you so oblige, to hit the subscribe button and join our tribe. We are a wonderful, beautiful family of divine feminine women who all love, support, and root for each other as we are healing, growing, and prospering. If you are a returning subscriber, what's up, Soul Tribe? How you doing? How you doing? I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you are healthy, whole, and prospering and continuing on your growth and your healing journey. This is part two of a conversation that we were having in the last video about the holy fire within. The holy fire within. Um, if you did not watch part one, it was really, really good. The mother spoke expressively, very powerful message. I listened to it over again, as I do with most of my messages, and it really, really, again, empowered me as well. It's kind of weird when I listen to myself because, um, you know how they say, sometimes you have to be the change you want to see, and sometimes, the mentorship or the teacher or the mother figure or whatever kind of person you needed that you didn't have. A lot of times you find yourself having to become that for yourself. So when I listen to my messages and I listen to them over again, that's kind of what I experience. Like, I am the change I wanted to see. I am the voice I wanted to hear. And so I hope everybody who listens to these messages as you tap in that you are experiencing empowerment, enlightenment, growth. Hope you are experiencing the frequency of sisterhood. I really, 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 really want that to be the frequency of this channel. But we were talking about the holy fire within, right? And just to recap, I was speaking about the fires that are happening over in California and using that kind of as an example to teach us about the fire element and the role of divine femininity in how um, things play out in the third dimension, which is a reflection and a mirror of the spiritual realm. And we talked about the Great Mother and her supremacy, and going forward, how the third dimension is a dimension that requires change. No, it doesn't always feel good. And yes, sometimes we go through catastrophic things, whether they be by nature or by um, perpetrated upon us by other people who have issues with greed or whatever the case, power struggles. People want to control certain ports, industry, geography. They want to control everything. And that baffles me because I don't understand what's so hard to understand about the fact that the planet doesn't belong to any one person. I don't understand how there can be any humans who doesn't have um, a heart for humanity. But some things are simply above my pay grade, right? We could speculate on how that is, and we can get answers on why that is, but that's not what we're talking about right now. It just is. But in the fact that it is, the mother is still in control. Her throne is still very much up, and she's still very much sitting on it. So that is some of the things we discussed in part one. Please go back and watch that if you have not watched part one. Um, Today we're going to talk about trust. Trust. Trusting the holy fire that all of us as divine feminines have within, right? Trusting the holy fire of the great mother, the grandmother, the goddesses who walk with us, right? Trusting the holy fire leads you to unlock the mysteries, okay? The mysteries, the unknowns. In a previous series, we talked about the conscious and the subconscious, and the information that you need to be able to retrieve that is unknown to your conscious mind is retrieved when you open up the channel to the subconscious, which is the oldest version, the oldest frequency of the mind. Trusting the holy fire allows you to unlock those mysteries of the sacred purpose for which you were created. We know that we have a physical body, spirit body, soul, and we know that we in spirit energy is not destroyable. So we know intellectually that we are eternal. But have you ever just sat down and thought about that? Because we live in a 3D world where things die, right? The body can die, the body. You know, animals die. We ride down the road, we see roadkill and things die. So we have a relationship in the third dimension with death that I think sometimes, at least for me, has created a blockage in me being able to understand from a deeper awareness the eternal status and state of my being. If I exist, I will always exist. If I exist, I've always existed. And when I think about that sometimes, I'm better with it now, but when I think about that, when I used to think about it, I used to be like, "Ooh, that's deep." That's kind of, you mean to tell me, wait a minute. Well, what's next? So many unanswerable things at that time because I was kind of still stuck in a false awareness of things. And so I would have moments where I would think about what eternity, what it really means to know that I cannot die. So there is a sacred purpose for which for which you, for which we were created. Trusting the holy fire reveals, I'm going to talk a lot about this on this channel, your spiritual vocation. Because the vocation is not governed by the third dimension, which is why so many people often, especially when you're younger, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? It's like the age old question, what's my purpose? People are trying to find their purpose, as you should be. Some find it and some don't. Some get so busy just being human that they don't really look. They're perfectly fine with their occupation. At least they think so. But when it comes to your spiritual vocation, the fire, you want to represent the fire from an emotional standpoint, it would be your passions. Manifesting as your passion. The fire reveals your spiritual vocation. The holy fire also divinely protects the pathway for you to fulfill it. See, this makes me smile because for once in my life, out of all of the things that I have done, I have owned. My first business was a cleaning company. I've been entrepreneurial since I was early 20s. I ain't never really wanted to work for nobody besides myself. I have had jobs. I have. Um, then my family had a family business uh, for many years. So I worked for and with my mom. We had we were in elder care industry. And I had my own facility for a while. Made pretty good money too. Ain't gonna hold you now. Might go back to it. Might go back to it at some point. One day, maybe. Um, I've owned a bakery. I'm a baker. I mean, I bake stuff like, look, you have to sit down and take a bite of that because it might knock you off your feet. And I done seen people have to take a biting down in a piece of my chocolate cake. You have to compose yourself now. Hold on. Anybody that knows me in my city that knows that I bake in my peer group knows that I don't play when it comes to that baking. I had a bakery, very successful, right? Like I've told many of you, I've been a minister, preacher in the church. I've done a lot of things, I think. I have a lot of gifts and talents. I'm also a musician, producer. I got a lot of things, right? I paint. But what I'm doing right now and why you are able to hear and listen to my voice and what I am building, I can for once say I am in my purpose. I am absolutely 100% unequivocally in my divine vocation. And I can smile because this task that I have been designed for has been a battleground for me to get to, right? And I can look back over my life and see how all of the struggles, all of the hurt, the abandonment, the disappointment. All of it is now the very thing that I use to fulfill the purpose. All of the not so pleasant things that I've experienced over the course of my life, not one particular season, not because I was a Christian, because I wasn't, not because I was married, because I wasn't, not all of it. Childhood, all of it was exactly what I needed. And through me being willing to alchemize those experiences, I have been able to utilize the holy fire that I possess as a divine feminine to alchemize those experiences and now use the gold, the silver of that experience to fulfill my divine vocation. Knowing now that I am in my purpose, knowing now the mysteries of my purpose, my pathway is protected by the same fire that I use to fulfill the purpose by the same fire that I have towards the purpose. That same fire is what causes me to be deeply protected. There's a point where that light radiates from within you, and circumstances, individuals, or whatever the sort that cannot and do not possess the vibration of that light cannot stand in your presence. Because the light of you, the fire of you is too great. When the light within reveals the mystery behind your purpose, you will make the choice to trust the mother as she moves you along the path. He talked about the pillar of fire that went before the children of Israel by night in the first video. Because that fire cuts the path, because it goes before you. It's not behind you. It's not on the side of you. It is before. It's before you. We often talk about, the mythological figure Jesus being the Christ and the Christos, and he was the light, and da 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 da. But I like to really look at that, because I really think that it was John. It was John the Baptist who was his pillar of fire. When you look at the scriptures and how it explained in the story, remembering that these scriptures are myths, but because they are myths don't mean you cannot glean from them. You can glean spiritual wisdom from them, or spiritual knowledge, because wisdom has to be experienced. Wisdom comes from experience. So you can't get wisdom just because you read the Bible. I don't know. Correct that. But you can get spiritual knowledge, a little intellect from these stories, these myths. We have to remember something. That there is a big difference in what the Bible says and what people preach or have preached from it. Many of you may be, like me, ex-Christian or moving out or considering it, starting to uncover that, this is a bunch of hogwash. And when I first started moving out, I was like, throw the whole Bible away. Oh, it's all a lie. I'm a Virgo, so I got a little more intelligence than that. I did sit it down and didn't touch it for a while. Because for one, I was a preacher, so I knew the Bible. I knew what I knew what I read, I knew what I studied, I knew what I was told. I knew enough to sit it down and go see something else, read something else, discover something else. Tie it all together. See how it fits. Because it's a fragment. Greek mythology is a fragment. The Bible is a fragment. Roman mythology is a fragment. Every book that's ever been written is a fragment, whether it's spiritual or not. So I teach my children to read. To read. And be diverse in your reading. But the pillar of fire that went before them by night, they had to trust, right? Because, quite frankly, they didn't know where the hell they was going. They knew where they were leaving, but they had no clue as to where they were going. And without that pillar of fire, where were they going? The light within you, the light of the mother, the fire of the mother, is going to require your trust. Because you don't quite know in the beginning where it's taking you. But what you do know is that if I'm going to get there, then I'm going to need her to show me the path, taking one step at a time and honoring what has value in your heart. I think we'd be surprised how many people are living out of their occupation. This does not mean that they are not successful, all the way from the poor or the impoverished or the middle class, all the way up to the filthy fucking rich. I think we'd be surprised to know how many of them are just existing out of a vocation. I'm sorry, out of an occupation. If you ask them what is their deeper purpose, what is their spiritual purpose, they either going to lie and make up something, or they're going to simply say, I don't know. As the holy fire clears your path, divine feminines, your purpose is uncovered and it is discovered. This is why you need the fire of the mother. This is why you need to know that you are in possession of this fire. The holy fire begins to grow within your heart to accomplish your divine purpose. There comes a point because there came a point for me when I just couldn't do it no more. And I'm still there. Whatever is to be gained tangibly will be gained. But I will not spend one more second on this planet doing anything other than what I'm doing. I will not. Because along the path, as I kept following the holy fire within, as I kept following that, as after I made up my mind that it's time to stop going over here, dibbling, dabbling in that, and you're dibbling, dabbling in this, and then you're dibbling, dabbling in that, and yes, it is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and da 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 da, it's giving you the illusion of success. But you're still unhappy when you have your quiet times. You're still, something still is just not right. When I got past that and said, you know what? I don't know what is. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna follow. I'm a for once and for all, man. Just follow my heart. I'm tired of busy work. Now, this is me. Tired of busy work. Can be possible that I have all of this physical body. I have all, I'm like, I'm here. It can't be possible that I'm an eternal being eternally and I'm just here to do busy work. This is not right. That's how I felt about everything that I have done before now. It's busy work. And when I finally decided that something in my heart is not sitting well, of having some success in certain areas. Some of my business ventures have brought me some success, but it was fleeting because I'm not happy. So what I do, I go and blow everything. I go and, you know what I'm saying? I go and try to play the American dream game with them. And then I end up with the short end of the stick. And then like my feet hurting, you know what I'm saying? I want to sit down, can't sit down because I got to grind, got to hustle, hustling out of greed and not out of passion. Like, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my soul. I feel it in my spirit. There's something else. And when I yielded to that something else, I had no clue, but I said, I have to trust the mother. I have to trust the mother. She told me to follow her, and this is exactly her words when I started my awakening. If you just seek me, follow me, look for me in everything that you study, everything that you hear, look for me. And I will show you the truth and I will show you the way. I said, okay. And I smiled because she did exactly. I also cried because I'm so grateful. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not so grateful because I have the biggest bank account. I'm not so grateful because I wear the finest clothes. I'm not so grateful because I get to eat in five-star restaurants. Not yet. I'm not so grateful because I have tangible possessions and all of this stuff. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful because she did exactly what she said she would do. I'm grateful that I had the smallest amount of trust to trust The inner voice that is inside of me as a divine feminine. To trust enough the fire within my heart to be willing to give up the illusion for the truth of who I am as a divine being. The loss has been great, but the gain has been greater. I can't even put it into words. This is why I go so hard. This is why I speak with so much passion. I can't always say, oh yeah, mother, it's too, see, fire is fire. A spark is a spark, but fire is fire. The holy fire begins to grow to aid you at accomplishing your divine purpose. And the more you trust it, the more it can grow. And the thing is, when it starts to grow, it starts to be a little bit like a wildfire. It feels a little unmanageable. It feels good in one way. Trusting it allows it to feel good. It allows trusting the fire when it is wild and it is burning down relationships and it is burning down employment ships and it is burning down tangible material gain and it starts to burn down your bank account, starts to burn down the illusion of self, starts to burn down any and everything that is in your way, blocking your path. The fact that you have made the choice to discover and uncover the path. Beginning, it feels a little bit like a wildfire. But then as you trust it, as you grow, something miraculous happens because you you gain the power to turn it up, turn it down. You gain. See, we talked in the last video about how the elemental gods and goddesses that we um, subscribe the elemental powers to, how they got to that place where they are the governing frequency over the air, over fire, over the earth, over water. How they got there is because when they were here, where we are now, They did the same work we're doing. And as you start to trust the path and the fire that is uncovering and discovering the path, you then begin to be able to turn it up, turn it down. When something gets in my way, I turn it up. I turn it up. I don't wait. I don't have nothing to wait for. Because the passion of the fire that is within me is I can't stop. Like I can't stop for you. But you in my way now because I'm trying to get somewhere. So I have to turn it up. And when I get that out my way, I can turn it back down and use it like a lamp. When it's time to clear something, a blockage is coming, I turn it up. You do the same thing with the water element. You do the same thing with the air element. You do the same thing with the earth element. You do the same thing with ether. But we're talking about the holy fire. This has been Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I am YaYa, the spiritual doula. Thank you, my sisters, tribe, family, for tapping in. Please take a moment, if you have not already, to subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Would love to have you a part of the situation over here with us. You know what I mean? Also hit the like bell. I'm sorry, the notification bell. So you'll know when I'm back with another video. All right. And hit the like button. That is a good way to donate energetically to the channel. And I will greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. All right. Share, comment, leave a comment. Let me know how this message resonated with you. Share, tell someone in your peer group, around your neighborhood, someone on your job, another divine feminine who you think would benefit from our family here. Okay, I love all of you guys. Please continue to be well, continue to prosper, continue to grow. And I'll see you guys on the next one, all right? Peace, family.